Hello everyone. I'm going to do a presentation today which is really important, well, a lot of people heard me talking about how we figured out latitudes and longitudes, and 3.25, from longitude to longitude line, and how we use the little squares for figuring out the individual latitudes and longitudes for one-on-one and all of that talk. But a lot of what I haven't ever shown anybody before is how these latitudes and longitudes were viewed by the ancients and how they were connected by trade. What I'm going to show you is an example for the Sandia area, which is at 35 degrees latitude. Our trade zone goes from 106 longitude, and it goes to 4 degrees in both directions from that 106. In other words, wow, what was that?
I don't know.
Oh, somebody's talking over there on Facebook. I forgot to log out. Sorry about that, everybody. I'll have to get back to that later. But anyway, the latitudes and the longitudes and how they're connected to each other, because I did a lot of talk on it, but I've never been able to show you visually how this works. Because with this 35 degrees here in Sandia, if you go along these same numbers I'm showing here, you can actually go around the entire globe at this one latitude and map out the entire trade zone for the entire world, because it's all based, from this one area to this 35 degrees latitude to another 35 degrees in Tibet, which is out near Lhasa or someplace in Tibet at their 35 degrees, which was the area for controlling the trade for that side of the hemisphere. As much as the Sandia Mountain was used to control the trade for the northern hemisphere on this side. So in order to show the latitudes and the longitudes, I created a chart here, which is really simple. First in the corner up here, and the corners up there, is 39 degrees latitude. So the red is latitude. Each one is a latitude down. 39 degrees, 38 degrees, 37 degrees, 36 degrees, and there's that 35 degrees I was talking about with that blue arrow. From that 35, it goes down to 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, and down to 29. In other words, the trade zone from 29 to 39. There's another trade zone that goes from the equator to 19, but that's for another whole other subject. That's where Teotihuacan and all of them are at. But our local trade zone is 29 to 39. And then the next trade zone goes from that point on, from 41 on up to another trade zone into the 50s. But now that you know that these are latitudes, this on the middle in blue, where 106 at with other green arrows at, is 106 degrees longitude, which is the line going down. See, 106. So wherever these red markers are is where the trade zone limitations are. 106, 107, 108, 108. See? There's 106 again. You do the same thing this way. 105, 104 degrees longitude, 104 degrees longitude. See how they're connected here and that way?
Yep.
Now that you see how the longitudes are 105, 104, 103, 102, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111. It gives you the actual trade layouts where the area on the inside that's in green is totally controlled by their trade. Everything on the yellow on the outside is utilized to control the trade to the west of them, to the east of them, to the north of them, and to the south of them. But in these, when the green here, they totally control the trade within their trade zone. Everything is out is trading with the other trade people, neighbors next to you or above you. So now that you know that the blue are longitudes and the red are actual real latitudes, now you take this green arrow, that green arrow, this green arrow at 106, that green arrow, and you follow them. And where does it take you? To the Sandia Mountains. It's really coming down hard now. And the Sandia Mountains was considered to be the center for this trade zone. Now, if you look around it,
well, that would explain the petroglyph national monument.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's here. It lays out how to go to these various places. Good just to say that. Colin almost forgot that.
Good point. Yes.
But yeah, but with the Sandias, if you notice right here, where it's controlled right here, look at it. It's in exactly to that longitude, here to here, and also to these latitudes out here. So 36, 35, 34. 36, 35, 34.
Chaco Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Wheeler Peak.
Now, you know that Sandia is now one entire trade zone mathematically. Now I'm going to go and show you how it's connected from this to that. On the northeastern side, like this square, was controlled by Trinidad, Colorado, here at this 37th degrees latitude and 104 degrees longitude. Antonito, Colorado, up here at 106 above Sandia at 37 was used to control trade going north. Mesa Verde on this side was utilized to make trade going to the northwest. But they had a trade partner that helped them get trade through here called Chaco Canyon. Chaco Canyon wasn't in any of these places. It was a go-between. Mesa Verde was the control of their trade zone. You go down to the next trade zone below Mesa Verde, it's Zuni. And then once you go below Zuni, you hit the Gila cliff dwellings. And, hold on.
It must be raining really hard, Raj.
Yeah, it's what do you call it, warning? One of those warnings about there's a weather alert. So
making it rain, Raj.
Yeah, it's getting wild over here. Like, hope it doesn't do it again, because every time they do that, they want nobody to get flooded out. But I can understand. Well, I left here at Zuni. See that orange right there and that orange right there? That's the edge of the trade zones that goes between that trade zone from Zuni to that trade zone to that zone. But we'll get here in a second. Zuni controlled this trade area, if you notice, for these 2 latitudes and 2 longitudes. Below Zuni, Gila cliff dwellings controlled the trade zone from 34 to 32. And it was at 33 degrees latitude, 108 longitude. And then if you notice, I have a little thing here that's tied to there. And if you go to 31 degrees at 1010, you'll go to the Babakivri Mountain. Okay, we know there's a weather alert. Okay, cut it out.
Well, considering the weather alerts, why don't you tell them what the importance of Babakivri?
Babakivri is the home of Iatoi, the creator of mankind, who's the southwest version of what we call Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, Viracocha, whatever name you want to give him. That's who this person is who lived at Iatoi Key. And where is Iatoi Key located? At the Babakivri Mountain. So Babakivri is a sacred mountain to the Tono Autumn of southern Arizona. But to make this thing actually work, you had to align Babakivri Mountain, which has this little blue eyeball in it, to the Sandia, which has a blue eyeball in it, which is our mountain that's right outside my window, to Wheeler Peak over here. Why? When you align Wheeler Peak to Sandia, and then you go to Pottery Mound, and then to the Gila Cliff Dwellings, and then you go to the Babakivri Mountains, it takes you right down to the Gulf of California, where it can be sent down to the Gulf of California, down to Teotihuacan, and down to the tribes south of us. And that's only one of the trade routes that can be used here. Every one of these trade routes can be used because they